Hello and welcome everybody to The Loop. Louis, it's season 2, episode 1. We're coming back in the new year. We had a little bit of a break. I've got a whole bunch of things to talk about, but honestly, my friend, it's just good to see you. How are you? I've missed your face.
I've missed you too, Joe. It feels like it's been forever, mate. That holiday break is I don't want to say it's too long because we all need a holiday, right? But I've missed you.
Right.
I feel like I've lost my other half over the holiday break.
Likewise, man. I don't know all the slang I'm using. Nobody's like correcting me or anything. So it's been a long one, but it's good to be back. I've got a whole bunch of updates for the people. I know you've got some updates. I think the biggest thing. So we had the holiday break, rolled us into the new year, and then for us here in the stateside, we had our sales kickoff, which is called Amplify, in January, and it was awesome. We had our whole company, 100 plus people, out to near our office in northwestern Indiana there, right on Lake Michigan. It was a lot of fun. There's been pictures and everything all over LinkedIn, so, certainly you don't have to be sad. You can do a little catch up there, but there was some big news, Louis, and that is Starin is no longer and now lives Midwich US.
Huge
I'm very excited
change.
to be officially under the brand name for Midwich. For you, it's been like that always. There's the Midwich Group, all of the companies that the Midwich Group owns and helps operate. Starin has been one of those for many years now, and it just made sense for us and our team to get the branding under the same name and the same header and everything.
So we can.
So I'm just excited to.
We can officially say now that we're no longer step brothers. We are, in fact.
Yeah, we're real brothers now. It was always real, man. It was always real. So for all the folks out there and the dealers, what does that mean for me? It doesn't really mean anything for you. Change our stuff to Midwich. A lot of it was automatic. If you still email my Starin email address, like it forwards on, in terms of payments and accounting and things like that, talk to your rep, but you should be able to kind of just change names over from Starin to Midwich and you're in business. The website got updated, but Louis, one of the first updates that I have then is that our services offering has changed. And is now going under the Plus brand. So I won't get super into the weeds on it for folks, mostly because I'm still learning some of it, right? But I know I got some notes here to keep myself on track. We have our technical support and on-site services. Those are both their own kind of brand of things. So Protect Plus and On-Site Plus. And then we have Deploy Plus for programming and commissioning, and Code Plus for more bespoke projects for programming and for commissioning. So keep an eye for the dealers for those services. We've got those rolled out. And I'm excited just to have it it just feels so official now. Nothing's changed, but it's changed, it feels different. It feels new. I'm excited about it.
That's one thing about the Midwich family, right? And we've said it a lot. We all work as one big unit, but sometimes the outside perspective, it's hard to see it as one big unit when you see a load of different brands and names floating around. Like you said, nothing's really changed for us internally, right? We're all still going to work the same way. But externally now, people might look and say, oh, like we say, we're joking about the stepbrother thing. We're one big happy family, right? We're all here to support each other. And that support arm, like you were saying, with the new Plus, the rebrand there, making sure everyone's aware about that value add Midwich can bring across the globe is huge. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this new branding is going to take us further in that space.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. Just kind of knowing where we were and seeing how far we've come in the last, say, 4 or 5 years, and reflecting back on that it makes me real excited for the next 4 or 5 years. So kind of looking forward, Louis, I've got a slew of product updates. We talked about this a little bit the first episode, and we were planning the season and what it should be. And initially, Louis, we were looking at like an ISE kind of rap show, right? That's how we were going to start.
Yeah, well, that just felt like the way we should do it, right? ISE, the biggest show to kick off the year. It always seems like an easy way to do the first show. But we were talking about it, weren't we? And there's so much content out there on ISE. Is it innovative? Is it just new products but doing the same thing? Is the industry seeing enough innovation there? This isn't the show for that, right? We're not the show here just to showcase products for the sake of showcasing products. We're here to help integrators out, get to the nuts and bolts of things, keep people up to date with updates, or if something new does come out, where does it fit in what you're trying to do, or what are people talking to us about, and how is the new tech fit into the new questions we're getting given?
Right. And so I've got a bunch of that. I guess I'm looking at my list and my notes, and I'm saying, where should we start? I want to get on a hot topic early, and this is good. Like one of my favorite things to talk about. Louis, are you familiar with the Bird Dog pod?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to be the absolute novice. Ignorance is bliss. Teach me. Talk to me.
I love it. I love it. The Bird Dog Pod is a NDI to USB converter for the sake of conversation. I don't want to belittle anything. I don't want to miss any points. You can certainly check out Bird Dog's website or their reps or talk to our people for more details. But essentially, what it boils down to is a converter that takes, I think it's up to 4 NDI inputs. Don't quote me on that. It takes NDI inputs and converts it to USB. It's specifically designed to bring NDI into the UC space. Now, Bird Dog, and I'm a huge Bird Dog fan, they will admit that they got caught in some supply chain issues, and they announced this product a couple years ago. They got hung up in production, unfortunately, and the product never came to fruition. The term we use often in the industry is called vaporware. And I'm bringing this up specifically because Bird Dogs saw and still sees that there's a need for this product in the market. They stayed committed to the product, redesigned it so they could go into production in new facilities and still give you the same functionality of it. Well, I'm excited to talk about it because it's finally coming.
Now, I'm going to stop you in the blaze of excitement. Again, ignorance is bliss. I know nothing about this. I don't know what we're talking about. Tell me why it's important.
This gives you the ability to bring NDI workflows into the UC space. Right now, if you want to take an NDI, I don't even want to just say an NDI camera, but for the sake of example, let's just say a single NDI camera and get that into a Microsoft Teams solution or into a Zoom solution. It's not all that simple. For sure, you're going to need a converter of some type. You're going to be using NDI tool set, and it's going to take somebody who knows their way around NDI. It's not very plug and play. The Bird Dog Pod is very much, there are some functions that are customizable and you can get into, but it's very much a plug and play unit. You get if your NDI network is feeding this input, it will see and recognize NDI devices. It's got a couple of touch capacitive buttons so you can flip through sources right on the pod itself. But now this brings multi-camera NDI workflows into the UC space, which a lot of people have asked about doing, but nobody's doing real effectively yet. So I'm excited to see it. They're saying March of 2025, which is right around the corner, man. If we blink and it's going to be here. So keep an eye out for that. Very excited to see that product finally hit the shelves and get some feedback. How many do you want to buy, Louis? I'll get a stack for you.
If a day goes by where someone doesn't ask me how I can get different camera sources into a Teams call or multi-cameras into a Teams call, it's a weekend. Right. It's the weekend. Right. And even sometimes at the weekend, people ask me that question. I'm like, take a day off. Take a day off.
Yeah. It's Saturday. Leave us alone. I love it, man. That was probably the one I don't want to say I was most excited about, but I think there's a long history and people were a little sour when the production didn't kick off the way Bird Dog certainly intended, and they're the first to acknowledge it. It happens in the world. I'm glad they stayed committed to the product, and I'm really excited to see it come to the market. Moving down the line, Louis, Logitech, huge brand. I know kind of all around the globe for us. There are a couple new products from the Logitech brand. Have you seen these yet, or am I introducing you to these
again?
For the first
Introduce
time?
Away, mate. Introduce away.
I love it. So they came out with a couple of things. One I want to talk about is the Rally board. So this is Logitech's solution for an all-in-one unit that works as a collaborative board and your Zoom or your UC room, right? So I'm really excited about that. There's some innovative solutions in it. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but the way the camera and the shutter work is really neat. You can flip it over so it can be oriented in different ways. It's really exciting. But actually, a product that I'm a little more kind of juiced about is the Logitech Spot. And the Logitech Spot is a room sensor. And I don't want to boil it down to be something that simplistic because it's a pretty advanced room sensor. Louis, in the past, when we've seen room sensors, they're usually just occupancy sensors. It's low-level radar. They can detect if there's movement in the room or not. And that's kind of all there is to it. With the Logitech Spot, there is way more function and functionality built into it. There's a bunch of sensors for environmental censoring, right? It can be customized to fit the space that you're in, so it works well in rooms with glass walls and things like that. And Logitech is integrating this with the rest of their solutions and their platform. So when you use like Logitech solutions with the Logitech booking solution and Spot, it really supercharges the room and gives you all sorts of immediate functionality, and ultimately allows the user in the room to have to interact with hardware less, which is really the goal, right? It becomes easier to get in the room, and you don't have to worry about booking it or things like that. So it's I'm pretty excited about that. Logitech.com. Check out the new stuff. Check our team for inventory and availability on the products. But I'm excited about a couple of those things. This list is too long, and I'm too excited about all of them. Aver's got a new video bar out, Louis.
Yep.
That I'm super excited about because that's got built-in Android hosting. So now you can host your room with your Aver bars. All the Aver bars in the past were UC plug and play, right? So you still needed a host device. And now it's got Android and you can host right on that device, which, let's be honest, man, for a lot of, I don't even want to say small rooms, for a lot of huddle to medium spaces, a hosted solution on a bar is often the right solution and will do a great job.
In fairness, so outside of this, right, and I don't want to give too much away because I'm working on it at the moment. I'm making a little video in the background on introducing people to the video conferencing world and how a roadmap might look like when it comes to choosing the right kit for the right space and the right people. Because a lot of the time people ask me the same questions, right? And a lot of those questions are coming from a place of no education in the field. So they're kind of spitballing ideas. A lot of that roadmap, when you go through the do you want this? Do you want that? Move on to the next question. Where can we go from here? Where can we go from that? Those all-in-one solutions with Android, a lot of the time, are a really good fit. Like you say, if you want something quick, you're not, personally, I don't like them in the bigger spaces. So I do stick them to the small to medium type deployments. And that's more from a flexibility and a nerdy perspective, I'm going to say. It's not wrong. It's just I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to those things, I'm going to say. But a lot of the times on that roadmap, it goes down to all-in-one solution. Get it on the wall, get it up and running quickly, easy to use.
And you're out.
And you're out, yeah. Moving back a little bit, though, if you are looking at those sensors and things like that, that does add another element to these rooms, right? So don't think when you are kitting out these rooms, maybe I'll buy a bar and that's my room done. Okay, don't let it be that easy and simple. There's a lot more to think about. When it comes to those sensors as well, we talk about the new eco footprint everyone's looking at. We all want to be sustainable. We all want to be green. Having sensors like that are going to help us go forward because it gives us educated reports on what we are actually using in our spaces. But yeah, those all-in-one devices,
exactly.
If you do want to get yourself up and running quickly, there's not a lot we need to do to help you with them. Let's be honest.
We have maybe not a great tendency in our industry to tend to over design things and maybe make them more complex than they actually need to be. And I really love helping people get into a simpler solution. It's honestly like it's become one of the joys of my job. And going, yeah, that's all you need. And the integrator's on the phone going, no other adapters or converters or licenses or anything like that. It's like, no, this is all you need. You can get them up and running. To your point, I think when you're talking about solution design, that's when you talk about the entire solution that might include software and sensors and all these other things. But when you're looking at it on a more granular kind of micro scale, and we're just talking about this room and just this room, often, a bar is all it is. And with the way the technology has developed over the last handful, maybe half decade or so, it's never been, the performance has never been better. And I'm a stickler for how good it sounds and how good it looks, particularly for how good it sounds and looks on the other side of the call. I'm very much a stickler for that. And I have found myself going, no, that room microphone that you just have thrown in the corner sounds great, because they're just that good now. So awesome to see, Aver get in the all-in-one game with that Android solution. Logitech's getting in the spot. I've got a couple other ones. Icron just also introduced their Polaris USB Matrix, which is, we're talking about being nerds, right? Like, this is probably one of the products that I'm most excited to see, especially early in 2025. It was a huge launch. They showed it at ISE. We're going to see it at InfoComm and well, but it's a 4x4 USB host switching device. So in rooms where you have combined divide situations, for sure, if there's like all sorts of KVM things going on or that sort of thing, this is a 4x4 USB host matrix, we for sure will post up some visuals to take a look at, but go to Icron's website, check it out, look at some of the diagrams. I think this is a device that has sort of been missing in our market for sure. USB matrixing and mixing, so to speak, can be very complex. USB handshakes don't always jive up and everything. And so I got to play with this at our Amplify event, our sales kickoff in January, and it was rock solid, man. I'm so excited about this. Maybe it's just me, Louis. I don't know if this one gets you going the way it does me, but I'm really excited to see Icron come out with a 4x4 USB host matrix.
The thing that excites me, Joe, is every time we speak, you can easily jump from one end of the spectrum right to the other. Like, we've gone from make it simple, make it easy with an Android device to the next thing I'm excited about is a matrix, and let's make it complicated again, right? Right. Now, the big message that I want to make sure I say there, I'm not just laughing about the scenario of going from one to the other. The big thing there is the right solution for the right space, right? Yes, we were talking a minute ago about making it easy. It's not always easy. It can't always be easy. Sometimes someone's going to give you a caveat or a curveball, and you're like, I just need to jump into this a little bit more. And this is another one of those products that are going to help you do it right, and in a way that hopefully doesn't make it too complex for someone to understand or use.
That's right. Well, and the point of this hardware is to be some of the back end complexity that makes the use of the hardware easy. So your end user can do things fluidly and move between, move peripherals amongst host devices without having to think about how is this happening? What are the connections? What are the data rates? What are the specifications? Like, you don't even know about that. Icron dealt with that. And that's a great call, and it's about having everything and the right tool for the job. So let's move maybe back into some the less complex stuff on the spectrum, right? I've got a few more updates, and then I'll be out of here, and that'll be it, Louis, I promise. Neat. Always innovating, always updating. I love them for this. Neat has added and is expanding on their BYOD functionality. Right now, it's on the Neat Bar and the Neat Bar 2. There's more coming in the lineup. I don't want to speak to their roadmap a little bit because I'm not intimately familiar with it, but I was told that this functionality is going to be expanding. And BYOD is something that people have been asking for Neat for a little while. More BYOD flexibility, more functionality. They're starting to introduce that. And I really appreciate that Neat doesn't just say, yeah, we've got it, and we're pushing an update out to everything, right? That can get a little hairy sometimes. And what they do is they thoroughly test and develop the solutions, and they push it out kind of a piece at a time to make sure that everything goes the way it's supposed to go. Because for Neat, user experience is tantamount. It's the most important thing. So I really appreciate that they focus on that there.
I think it's fair to say as well,
Louis,
with Neat as a brand, the kind of brand that will constantly, you will see developments, right, in their product set. We've seen things come further, Gen 2 of products, but they're not the kind of brand that rip and replace products just for the sake of it, right? They are, like you say, they are working on the firmware updates and the platform updates and making what they've got better. So if you are in the Neat ecosystem, you're an end user using Neat, you can rest assured that the products you've got are probably only ever going to get better, at least a good few renditions of getting better before you think, do I need to upgrade, right? So it's a great ecosystem to be investing in. Simple, again, right? Because a lot of that stuff is simple and easy to deploy. But in the back end, you've got a great vendor there working on the next edition of what your product on site can do.
Louis, I spend a lot of time on the internet, in forums, in the weeds, as I like to say, is the encompassing term for all that. And the loyalty that not just end users have as the users, but the end users and the system integrators have for Neat, the people that enjoy that ecosystem and work in that ecosystem. It's bar none, honestly. Like it's probably like the closest I've seen to like our industry getting like Apple.
I was literally
fanboys.
just about to say, I don't want to put anyone into a box, but Samsung and Apple, come on.
Yeah,
I'm an Apple guy at heart, and no one's going to convince me otherwise. And I'm seeing that with Neat. I talked to some end users.
Yeah,
they're die-hard fans, which is good. It's a good place to be.
They are. It's really cool, man. So shout out to Neat for continuing to expand the functionality and giving people what they're asking for in a responsible and effective way. I don't, Louis, I've got a bundle to talk about, all right? And I don't want to turn you off going, yeah, we've got bundles. We've heard about bundles before. Bundles, sure. Everything's bundled. That's great. Shure has launched IntelliMix room bundles, which I'm super excited about because for anybody who's tried to get into, so we're talking about the more complex solutions again, right? But Shure has made it easy by bundling these solutions. Yeah, we're riding that. We need to take the complex and make it easy.
I'm just going to take you on a roadmap journey with Joe, right? 1 minute you're laying on the beach,
it's gonna go
you're
like
sipping
this.
a margarita, you're enjoying your day. The next thing, you're on the Big Dipper, you're riding that, and you are going 100 mile an hour into the next beach.
Wait. You have a margarita right now?
Wow.
I don't have a margarita.
Come on, shoot me a margarita. Where?
Maybe next time. That's right. So what Shure's done here has taken their, I don't want to say super complex because honestly, if you're used to the P300s and Shure's and IntelliMix solutions, it's not the most, they actually have done a great job of making a complex thing already pretty easy. But Shure does require that our partners are certified in order to buy the P300s and the IntelliMix solutions so that they understand and can have a successful deployment. I think that's a great program and platform. I have no issues with that. There are people who have gotten into rooms and integrators that say, man, I need something that's a little more advanced. Maybe it's a little outside of my wheelhouse. I understand it, but I'm not certified in it. I don't have the time to get certified in it, whatever. The IntelliMix bundles come with a compute and a touch panel and like everything that you need to get, say, an MXA 920 or something like that up off the ground. Pre-configured solutions, so it's really, really nice. I just want to urge everybody, especially if you haven't really gotten deep into the Shure IntelliMix solutions, please take a look at the bundles as a great way to get your feet wet and get involved in some more complex solutions without having to maybe make the commitment of taking the training and getting certified. Maybe it's a good way to test it out. But Louis, I mean, that's a go-to solution in any conference room that needs improved audio.
Do you know what?
Right?
For time and time now, there's a couple of go-to brands that I go to just as introductions to these spaces. It's hard to introduce people to a space and then go, there's millions of vendors out there that can do it, right? So you kind of have to tailor a few to go, this is my go-to just to warm the water, so to speak. And Shure was always one of them when it came to audio for me. Super easy and super simple because you can put in speakers that are Dante, Cat 6 cable in. You can put in a microphone, Cat cable in, Dante, you're done. You can put in a P300, or you don't have to. You could go down the virtual and IntelliMix. You're done. It's a nice, simple solution to put together. So seeing them put the bundles together now is great. What I will say, though, and I said this in all of my NDA sessions with Shure, it is a simple way to get into this. It's not plug and play. Nothing will ever be plug and play. Sure. And I've been saying this a lot to people lately. No technology is plug and play. As easy as something can be, and I'm going to go Samsung and Apple again here, just to put it into layman's terms. When you get your iPhone and you bring it home, there's still a little bit of setup involved, right? So I would never deter anyone away from doing the certifications, go into the websites and doing the academies when you get the time. Knowledge is power, right? We've all been there. We've all been on site and we've all had to flick through something to quickly get something up and running. So I would say, yes, they're good. Yes, it's great to dip your toes in the water with a more complex system and it's not too difficult. But 100%, if you get the time before deployment to go and do the certs and go to the academies and get a little bit more trained up, I am an advocate for pushing that all day, every day, because nothing is, I might end up getting it tattooed. Nothing is plug and play.
I can't wait to see a tattoo. I was with you with your last tattoo, so I might have to be with you for this one. That's a good caveat, and like I say, I think this is a great opportunity to like do those things kind of alongside each other instead of having one impede the other. That's a great way to say it. You can do these things concurrently without letting one slow you down or the other. I'm
super excited though. I can't wait to see how these bundles take off because again, it's they've partnered with Hudley as well for the camera side of things. So great audio, great camera. Teams running in the background. What more do you want? Right.
What do you need? And I offered them the feedback when we were introduced to it as like, look, I think people might even be bundle fatigued at this point. So it's a tricky one because you hear I say at the beginning of this, you hear the word bundle and you might start to go, yeah, we've got a billion bundles. And it's like, sure, but a bundle is not a bundle is not a bundle. They're not all created equally. They're for different parts and pieces and purposes. And I think they've done a pretty good knockout job here, introducing themselves to that market and giving people a way to get into their more complex solutions. You know, when you have, there's a good reason that these things are gate kept, so that the experience and the deployments are effective and good, and it's a pleasant experience. However, you don't want to keep people out of it. They're not trying to keep you out of their solutions, right? So this is a good way to do that. I have one more audio update, since we're talking high-end audio brands, and I just want to say, some of the biggest brand names to just exist in the world today. We get to talk about Shure, and I'm going to kick it to the last one here. Yamaha has a couple of new things coming. I am most excited about probably the lamest part of this. They're coming with a new PoE
We're back
speaker,
on that roller coaster
an in-ceiling
again.
PoE
We're
speaker.
bringing it down again.
Yeah. I am super excited about the PoE speaker. I just think there are a few options out there, and I love to see the market continue to come with more. People are asking for PoE speakers. They're asking for ease of use during installation, and manufacturers are doing their best to bring it to them as quickly as they can. So there's a new PoE speaker that's going to fit in the VX lineup. Keep an eye out for that. That's an in-ceiling speaker. There's new networking switches with all sorts of functionality and limitations and capacities that are expanded on from their networking lineup switch. Their networking switch lineup, rather. Louis, fun fact, did you know that in Japan, Yamaha is the #1 selling network switch, bar none?
Did not know that at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know that Yamaha makes networking switches, and when I explain to them that they have a substantial lineup of networking switches, and they get to see them, they get to go, wow, we use them all the time. They're rock solid. So there's a bunch of new ones coming from Yamaha. They continue to expand that lineup. The last piece that I have for Yamaha, and really the last piece of my updates for today, so I appreciate you guys sticking around for the ride. There is new Adesia firmware updates out. There's a bunch of things that they added in there, but I think my favorite part of it is there's more functionality for control of third-party hardware, so they can do things like turn on or off a screen, kick blinds up or down, lights on and off, some basic things like that, as well as expanding the functionality for combined divide rooms, which is, for me personally, I've been getting a ton of questions about combined divide spaces, and the interest seems to only go up and become more intense. So shout out to Yamaha for continuing to address that in the market, and I've been excited to deploy those solutions in those spaces, and now it's just going to be easier. So stoked for that. Louis, you got any updates now that I took all the time talking about new products?
I feel
and
like
updates?
season 2, episode 1 is for Joe, right? There's been loads to talk about that. Summarizing, right? You've taken everyone on an absolute roller coaster, which is great as always. Everyone's got a bit of everything.
That's how I do.
But I think, again, like we said at the start of the show, right? We're not giving you product updates for product updates' sake. We've gone through a load of use cases here. Let's save some stuff, because I've been working on some stuff in the background that I'm super excited about, and I can probably talk for hours about those elements. I'm going to save them for the next episode. May even be using some of them for the next. I'm probably overselling that. It's a bit too soon what we're working on, but the excitement's there.
It's not fair because you're teasing it and I get to know a little bit about it. So I'm just happy to be back. Season 2, 2025. Appreciate everyone for being with us for the new updates. We're all happy to be under the Midwich umbrella now, formally and officially under the name. A bunch of new product updates. Louis, thanks so much for joining me this week and helping the people hang on to the roller coaster that is my brain. I really appreciate it.
As always, mate, absolute pleasure. And like we said at the start of the show, mate, it's been way too long. Outside of the show, we need to catch up more.
I can't wait. Thanks to everybody for sticking around and listening. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Let us know if you want more or less of something. We're here to help you out. And until the next time, we appreciate you letting us keep you in the loop.